What if I told you that every result in your life, every success, every failure, every dollar sitting in your bank account, every opportunity you received or missed, was not random? What if everything you're experiencing right now is the direct consequence of causes you set in motion, sometimes years ago, sometimes yesterday, sometimes without even realizing it? Earl Nightingale spent decades studying success, and he discovered something that changed everything. He called it the law of cause and effect, a law so simple, so powerful, and so universally misunderstood that most people never apply it consciously. And because they don't apply it, they spend their entire lives wondering why things just happen to them, why opportunities pass them by, why other people seem to get lucky while they struggle. Today, you're going to learn why nothing in your life is an accident. You're going to discover why successful people always seem to attract opportunities, resources, and the right people at the right time. And most importantly, you're going to learn how to apply this law deliberately to create wealth, confidence, clarity, and a completely different future. This is one of Earl Nightingale's most important teachings, and once you truly understand it, once you see how it operates in every corner of your existence, your life will never look the same again. Because you'll stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your reality. Earl Nightingale said something that most people hear but never truly absorb. He said our environment, our circumstances, the conditions of our lives, are the result of our actions, not our wishes, not our intentions, not what we hope for or dream about in quiet moments. Our actions. Life does not give you what you want. Life gives you what you cause. This is the fundamental truth that separates those who succeed from those who spend decades wondering why success never came. Think about it like this. If you plant wheat, you get wheat. If you plant thorns, you don't get roses. You don't get to complain about the harvest. You don't get to blame the soil or the weather or bad luck. The seed you planted determined the crop you received. It's that simple. It's that precise. It's that unforgiving. Your results are simply reflections. Reflections of the thoughts you've been thinking, the actions you've been taking, the habits you've been reinforcing, and the decisions you've been making or avoiding. If you want a better job, you don't wait for it to appear. You cause it by developing skills that make you valuable, by positioning yourself where opportunities exist, by becoming someone employers or clients can't ignore. If you want more income, you don't hope the economy gets better or wait for your boss to notice you. You cause it by increasing your value, by solving bigger problems, by serving more people, by mastering skills that command higher compensation. If you want a stronger mindset, you don't wish for confidence to magically descend upon you. You cause it by feeding your mind with empowering ideas, by taking actions that prove to yourself you're capable, by surrounding yourself with people who elevate you rather than drain you. If you want better relationships, you don't sit around hoping people will treat you differently. You cause it by becoming someone worth being around, by giving value first, by setting boundaries, by treating yourself with the respect you want others to show you. If you want more control over your life, you don't complain about circumstances or blame external factors. You cause it by taking responsibility, by making decisions instead of drifting, by leading your life instead of letting it lead you. Most people never understand this. They think wanting something is enough. They say, I want more money. But they plant fear, worry, doubt, procrastination, and excuses every single day. And then they're genuinely surprised when harvest season arrives and all they find is emptiness. They wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why the same problems keep showing up year after year. They wonder why other people seem to move forward while they stay stuck. And the answer is always the same. Wrong seeds. No seeds. Or seeds planted once and then abandoned. Nightingale always said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Read that again. Success is not the achievement of the goal. It's the progressive realization. It's the movement toward something meaningful. It's waking up every day and knowing you're moving in a direction that matters. But here's the part most people miss. Most people have no goal. None. They wake up, go to work, react to whatever comes their way, follow the crowd, watch television, scroll through their phones and hope that somehow, magically, things will change. That is a life of effect without cause. That is a life of drifting. That is a life where you're constantly surprised by results you never intended, because you never planted anything intentionally. This is why 95% of people fail. Not because they're lazy, not because they're unintelligent, but because they have no definite purpose, no clear target, no cause they're committed to producing. They expect results without planting anything. They expect wealth without providing value. They expect respect without becoming respectable. They expect opportunities without preparing themselves to recognize or seize them. Success requires three things. First, a decision. Not a wish, not a preference, but a firm decision about what you're going to create. Second, a direction. A clear path you're going to follow regardless of how you feel on any given day. Third, a cause that must produce a corresponding effect. An action or set of actions that, when repeated consistently, will inevitably lead to the result you decided upon. No cause equals no result. It's that simple. Wrong cause equals wrong result. You can work hard your entire life, but if you're planting the wrong seeds, you'll never get the harvest you want. Effort without direction is just noise. Action without purpose is just motion. This is why people can be busy their entire lives and still end up broke, confused, and disappointed. They were active, but they weren't causing anything meaningful. They were reacting, not creating. Every single action begins with a thought. Every invention, every business, every skyscraper, every piece of music, every scientific discovery, every relationship, every dollar you've ever earned, first existed in someone's mind. This is why Nightingale taught that we become what we think about, not what we wish for, not what we talk about, what we think about. Because thought is the original cause. Thought is the seed from which everything else grows. If your dominant thoughts, the thoughts that occupy your mind most of the time, are fear, limitation, doubt, I can't, nothing works for me, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the connections, the economy is bad, people are against me, then your subconscious mind must produce actions that match those thoughts. It has no choice. Your subconscious doesn't judge. It doesn't filter. It simply executes the program you've given it. And life, being the perfect mirror that it is, will reflect those thoughts back to you as circumstances. You'll find yourself hesitating when you should act. You'll find yourself surrounded by people who reinforce your limitations. You'll find yourself stuck in situations that confirm your fears, not because the universe is against you, but because you've been programming yourself for that exact outcome. But if your dominant thoughts are clarity, ambition, belief, goals, responsibility, progress, I can learn this. I will find a way. I am becoming better. I serve value. I am moving forward. Then your subconscious must produce actions that align with those thoughts. And life must respond in kind. There is no other outcome. This is not philosophy. This is not motivation. This is law, cause and effect. The thought is the cause. The action that follows is the effect. The result you experience is the effect of the effect. This is why two people can face the exact same situation and produce completely different results. Same circumstance, different thoughts, different actions, different outcomes. One person sees a problem and thinks obstacle. Another sees the same problem and thinks opportunity. The problem didn't determine the result. The thought about the problem determined the result. Your mind is not neutral territory. It's either working for you or against you. It's either programmed for success or programmed for failure. And here's the critical part. If you're not programming it deliberately, it's being programmed by default, by your environment, by the news, by the opinions of people around you, by past failures, by fear. People love to talk about luck. He was lucky. She was in the right place at the right time. They got a break I never got. It's easy to believe in luck because it removes responsibility. If success is just random chance, then failure isn't your fault. But Earl Nightingale understood something that lucky people understand. Luck is not random. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And preparation is a cause you set in motion long before the opportunity arrives. People see someone get promoted and say they were lucky. They never see the years that person spent developing skills, building relationships, proving their value, staying late, going the extra mile, learning what others ignored. People see someone build a successful business and say they got lucky with timing. They never see the failures that came before, the rejection, the nights spent learning, the resources invested, the courage to start when no one believed in them. People see someone wealthy and say they had connections. They never see the decades of discipline, the compound effect of small smart decisions, the self-control to delay gratification, the mental programming that made wealth inevitable. 95% of people wait for opportunity. They sit around hoping something good will happen. They play the lottery. They wait for someone to discover them. They wait for the perfect moment. 5% create opportunity. They don't wait to be discovered. They make themselves undeniable. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create conditions. They don't hope for luck. They engineer it. And here's what's fascinating. Once you start causing success in one area, opportunities start appearing in other areas. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you've changed. You've become someone who takes action, who follows through, who sees possibilities instead of obstacles. And that type of person naturally attracts more opportunities. So how do you actually apply this? How do you take the law of cause and effect and use it to transform your life? Earl Nightingale gave us a practical formula. It's simple, but don't confuse simple with easy. Step 1. Decide the exact result you want, and I mean exact. More money is not a goal. More money is a wish. Earn $10,000 a month is a goal. Better health is not a goal. Lose 20 pounds and run a 5-kilometer race is a goal. Improved relationships is not a goal. Spend quality time with my family 3 evenings a week without distractions is a goal. Your brain cannot move toward vague. It needs precision. It needs clarity. It needs a target so specific that you'll know without question whether you hit it or not. Step 2. Identify the cause that produces that effect. This is where most people stumble. They know what they want, but they have no idea what actually causes it. They want wealth, but don't study how wealth is created. They want respect, but don't develop character. They want opportunity, but don't prepare themselves to handle it. For example, if you want to earn $10,000 a month, what is the cause? Maybe it's mastering a high-income skill. Maybe it's learning to sell. Maybe it's building an audience. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's becoming so valuable in your field that companies compete for you. Whatever it is, identify it. Research it. Study people who have the result you want and reverse engineer their cause. Step 3. Do the cause every day. Not when you feel like it. Not when it's convenient. Not when conditions are perfect. Every single day. No excuses. No I'll start tomorrow. No emotional interpretation. This is where discipline separates dreamers from achievers. Anyone can take action once. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But can you do the cause for 30 days? 90 days, a year? Can you do it when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when no one is watching, when results aren't showing up yet? Repetition is the mother of skill. Consistency is the father of results. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You plant it, water it, protect it, and trust the process. Step 4. Combine faith with action. Faith without action is delusion. Action without faith is exhausting. But when you combine them, when you take consistent action while maintaining absolute certainty that the effect will come, you become unstoppable. You must believe this. The effect will come. Just like a farmer doesn't question whether seeds will grow if he plants them in good soil, waters them, and gives them time. He knows. He has faith backed by natural law. If the cause is correct, and you do it consistently, the effect must happen. It's not a hope. It's not a maybe. It's a certainty. The only question is when, not if. Let me show you what happens when you apply this for 30 days. Just 30 days. If for the next 30 days you think only about the result you want, if you take consistent daily action toward it, if you speak and behave with faith and certainty that it's already on its way, something extraordinary happens. First, your psychology changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop making excuses. You start seeing yourself as a cause, as someone who makes things happen, as someone in control. Second, your posture changes. Literally, confident people don't slouch. They don't avoid eye contact. They don't speak in hesitant, apologetic tones. When you're causing your life instead of reacting to it, your entire physical presence shifts. Third, your self-image changes. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone hoping for a break, but as someone creating breaks. Not as someone waiting for permission, but as someone who gives themselves permission. Fourth, people treat you differently. This is not mystical. This is observation. People respond to confidence, clarity, and purpose. When you carry yourself like someone who knows where they're going, others want to follow, support, or get out of your way. Fifth, opportunities appear, not because the universe magically decided to favor you, but because you're now alert to them. You're looking for them. You're ready for them. You're the kind of person who can actually do something with them. Sixth, your results start to follow. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not in the exact form you expected. But they come. Because for the first time, you became the cause, not the effect. Not because the universe is random. Not because you got lucky. But because you applied a law that works every single time it's applied correctly. Earl Nightingale didn't give us a motivational quote. He didn't give us a feel-good idea to make us temporarily excited. He gave us a scientific law, a law as reliable as gravity, as predictable as mathematics, as unchanging as the rising sun. Your thoughts become actions. Your actions become habits. Your habits become character. Your character becomes your destiny. This is the chain of cause and effect that governs every human life. If you don't like the effect, change the cause. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. You can't change the past, but you can change what you're planting today. And what you plant today will determine what you harvest tomorrow, next month, next year. Nothing in your life is accidental. Not your income, not your relationships, not your health, not your circumstances. Everything is the effect of causes you set in motion, consciously or unconsciously. But here's the empowering truth. You are in control. You might not control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely control how you respond. And your response is a cause that will produce an effect. The law of cause and effect is always working. Always. It's working for you when you use it deliberately. It's working against you when you ignore it. And it's working without your awareness when you drift through life on autopilot. But once you master it, once you truly internalize this principle, once you start living as a conscious cause rather than an unconscious effect, you never again have to guess why your results are what they are. Your life becomes predictable, not boring, predictable. You can predict that if you do this, that will follow. You can predict that if you invest here, you'll harvest there. You can predict that if you become this kind of person, these kinds of opportunities will come. Your life becomes directed. You're no longer wandering. You're no longer hoping. You're no longer waiting for someone to save you or circumstances to change. You're moving with purpose, with intention, with clarity. Your life becomes intentional. Every thought matters, every action counts. Every day is an investment in the future you're creating. Because success stops being an accident. Wealth stops being luck. Opportunity stops being random. Confidence stops being a personality trait. They all become consequences. Natural, inevitable consequences of causes you deliberately set in motion. This is the greatest lesson Earl Nightingale ever taught, and it's available to anyone willing to accept responsibility for their life and apply it. The question is not whether the law works. The question is whether you'll work the law. Will you plant the right seeds? Will you water them consistently? Will you protect them from the weeds of doubt and distraction? Will you wait patiently for the harvest while taking faithful action every day? Your answer to that question will determine everything. Because the law doesn't care about your background, your education, your age, your connections, or your past failures. The law only responds to one thing, the cause you set in motion today. So what will you cause?